There you go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the commissioner meeting. Brian, I'll have you start, introduce yourself, so you can just go around the room.
Okay, Brian Coulterly, Teton County Planner.
Sam Carlson, Teton County Commissioner.
Dick Snellman, Teton County Commissioner.
Paula, Jaconetty, Clerk and Recorder.
Melody Martinson, Choteau, Acantha.
And so welcome to everyone. We have minutes from August 17th. What's your,
I would move to approve those minutes.
I would second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And no road encroachments at this point. The chip seal is done on Teton Canyon Road.
They got it all striped.
I believe so,
Oh.
yep.
Have to run out there.
The next item we have is the agreement between MSU Extension and Teton County. We pay roughly 50% of the salaries, and Extension, or Bozeman pays the rest. And
We pay 65%
Or
of
up.
my salary.
Yeah, but up to 50% it says for the 37.5, that's,
Right.
would be the max.
Right.
And then we have, we supply the office and electricity and those type things, so. It's just to extend the
Just
contract.
a yeah, a
Yep.
renewal. I would move that we proceed with this renewal.
Okay, I would second that. Any questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we need to open the growth policy hearing, and Brian is here, so I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, we reviewed the growth policy goals and objectives last night with the planning board. 10 out of the 11 members were there. So we were able to get through all of the goals and objectives with the comments and questions and suggestions that they provided. MSU also provided some updates as well on specific information that they, on their current programs, and they removed a few as well. I'm comfortable with moving forward with the growth policy to be pushed out to the community for their comments and suggestions. The reason why for the biggest push is because as of September 30th, anything billed to us from Staley after the 30th will not be reimbursable through the grant program.
Okay.
And we need to run it for 2 weeks, and Staley will do that for us with online access through our web portal, and they will take all the comments and suggestions and provide us feedback on that.
Okay,
So my request is, can we move to have the growth policy pushed out to the community for their comments?
and that's for 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. So do we need to vote on that to open it?
No, you just,
No.
you can
Okay.
open it.
So as far as the commissioners are concerned, we'd approve that?
Okay.
To open it?
Yep, it's open.
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
So on this, when, have they advertised into the Acantha yet?
It's on our website for,
Okay.
so there's been a survey out since they started the program,
Okay.
which was last year. So there's been, it's been open on the website for public comment and surveys for that information to be included into the growth policy.
Okay.
This is just for the final draft to go forward, and so people can review it and make comments if they need to,
Okay.
or if they have comments for it, and then any feedback or changes that we need to adjust, we can do before the end of September, and then we will discontinue services from Staley to finalize it.
Okay, and so then it can be adopted
Yep.
in October, that's okay.
Yeah, so we have, so our contract with, our contract for the grant program only allows us to be able to bill back till the September 30th.
Oh, so the contract, the grant contract ends. on
Grant contract's in
September 30th.
September 30th.
Okay, so then, but you can still.
We have 90 days to, we still have 90 days to finish the
Okay.
draft and all that, but it'll have to be in-house.
Okay,
Staley will no longer exceed past that time frame for billable, so
okay,
if there's something that we would need to come request grant or money from the commissioners for, but I don't see it, we're pretty much close to being done. We just need to get the public comments completed. The document's pretty much finished.
okay.
So what's the deadline for comments?
After the 2 weeks, it'll be by September 30th would be, so 3 weeks roughly.
Okay, so are you going to publish a legal notice to that
Yes,
effect
yes.
in like the 13th and 20th acanthus?
Yep.
Okay. And the growth policy is available on the planning website for people to read?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll send you a QR code and everything for the paper as well.
So you have to comment by the 30th.
Is that a set? What, I gotta get the calendar. Yeah, that's a Saturday.
The comments by the 29th.
Oh,
Okay, September 29. Gotcha.
got it. Sorry about the interruption, guys.
That's okay. So public comments are due by September 29th. The availability will be advertised in the Acantha via legal notice on September 13th and 20th.
Yes.
And Staley's commitment to this project ends on the 30th. And so final revisions will be done in-house.
Actually, can we change the final comments to the 27th? That'll give Staley 2 days to
Okay,
combine all that and provide us the feedback if there is changes.
okay,
After the 30th, I will not be able to utilize them. It will
Okay.
be outside the scope of the
Right.
grant funding. Does that look okay?
Well, yeah, I was just wondering if that gives them time to do
2 weeks.
anything.
That
But-
gives the 2 weeks required per the grant program.
Yeah,
Any other comments or questions?
Brian, you could tell us, are there any significant changes in the growth policy that would affect people's daily activities of life, working, living here?
No, that's just basically the biggest deal for this growth policy. It'll be a 5-year growth policy.
Okay,
The
instead of a 10-year?
Yeah, and the biggest thing is to make sure that we're capturing all current and future projects that are wanted by each city and by the county, so that we can utilize the document for grant programs.
Okay.
There's no other comments. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate the work that you're doing on this. We have an appointment to the Refuge District number 1 in Power and Dutton. Tom Furringer retired or resigned, and the young man that was presented to us was Ori Gondero from Dutton.
you spelled both first and last name?
Orrie, and Gondero should be Gondero.
DEIRO.
Deiro, okay.
And do we know whether this is an appointment to fill out an existing term, or is this an appointment for a full term?
To fill out his term, and then it'll be, and I don't remember what year Tom was on, but I can find that out.
I know you guys have that board book.
Yes,
It'd be good to, make that change so that you're clear on how much time Ori has on the board before you have to reappoint him.
sure. So what's your pleasure there, Sam?
I move that we approve Ori.
And I would second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We had a budget hearing for Teton County that's will close today.
Thank you.
As far as comment period,
Okay.
not receiving very many, or if any,
I haven't had any comments from anyone.
no. So I would move to adopt resolution 2023-24.
You can't move it.
Or-
Sam can.
Okay,
I would so move that we adopt this, what was the number?
the 2023-24.
24, okay. I would move that we adopt this resolution.
For the county budget. I would second that. Any comments?
I just wonder if, Paula, can you send me the final copy with the changes that we discussed?
Yep.
And maybe send me the PILT sheet again too, just, that'd be great.
So, been moved and seconded, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Budget's been accepted.
And guys, there were no significant changes to the budget other than a few just typos cleaned up here
Correct.
and there. Otherwise, it's the same budget
Yeah,
we
Yep.
talked about at the preliminary, when you opened the hearing, okay?
Correct.
yep.
So that's being on the agenda. Any commissioner reports?
I don't have anything. You went over to look at the power project. How's that coming?
Yes, they are putting millings down on the power streets. And it's progressing. They're probably about a third done. They started yesterday, so.
Good.
Are they doing all the streets?
I believe that's the plan. You know how interruptions go, so the plan is to do them all.
And these are millings from the Interstate 15 project?
Correct.
Mhm.
And then will they be chip sealing on top of the millings?
No.
They're packing them, and there is a polymer that they plan on spraying on top. As soon as it becomes available. I mean, they're happen to be out at this point. The other commissioner report, we've received several inquiries into how and what's been taking place with assessments, or not assessments, but the tax increase. The counties are bound by law on 1510-420, and that's half of what inflation is that's presented to us by the state on a 3-year average. So we can tell you that the total for the county increase from last year, our mill was right at 21,000, and this year it's right at 25,000. The mills that will be, or that were put out last year was 131, and this year it's only 119 that the county does, or can legally do. With the new increase in buildings and infrastructure, and the increase of less than 2%, our total amount that the taxes for the county have gone up is about 143,000. We are under the impression that the state does not have to follow the 1510-420. So we have no idea what their increase will be as far as the schools are concerned and that approach. So we're just trying to let the taxpayers know that it's not our increase if there is an increase in their taxes in November. Any questions on that?
People just don't largely understand how property taxes work.
No.
And so I used the example of Jeff and I's our house in the city of Choteau. And so between appraisals, it went from $184,000 2 years ago to, I want to say, $263,000 this reappraisal.
Right.
So our property taxes were paid on the taxable value of the home, which is a fraction of its market value. So I think that in 2 years ago, our taxable value was 1,400 and some odd cents. And now after the reappraisal, our taxable value is $1,900 and some odd cents, approximately, I can't remember. So even though the city of Choteau is going down in mills, because my taxable value went up, I'm going to pay more in taxes this year than I did last year. Even though every jurisdiction that I can think of, Choteau School District number 1, Choteau, City of Choteau, and Teton County, which are where I pay my property taxes, even though every unit of government has reduced its mills, my taxes are still going up because my taxable value went up. My taxable value went up because the legislature declined to make the reappraisal revenue neutral. That number that they times my market value by to get my taxable value is set by the legislature. The legislature could have chosen to make it revenue neutral. You guys would have all raised your mills at 2.4%. You would have had to, but the tax increase would have been minimal for all of us because a 2.45 increase is minimal. And I think I calculated, I can't remember what my calculation was. It was more than 2.45%.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword, and people just don't understand that if they have a beef with what property taxes did this year, they need to call their legislators, because they were the entity in state government that had the power to make that reappraisal revenue neutral, and they chose not to. And people just don't understand that.
And that's why we were trying to get this out so that taxpayers know that it's not us
Right.
actually
No.
raising the taxes.
It's
And it wasn't with lack of trying to get the legislature to understand what the impact was gonna be, as the counties and the Montana Association of Counties, our lobbyists, the legislature just would not or could not
Right.
grasp what we were trying to say.
right. But again, it's really difficult for people to wrap their minds around all that math.
Correct. Well, and I mean, I'm not against education or anything like that, but just so people understand, when they get their tax papers, about 61-62% of all that revenue goes to the school districts. So
There is a request for an AG ruling from the
Yes.
Montana Association of Counties
Yes.
in regard to make sure that the state hopefully the state has to follow the 1510-420
Right.
statutes.
And that debate, if people haven't read about it, is that the Montana Association of Counties, MACO, is arguing, along with several other organizations, that the state's use of property tax is also capped under 1510-420, and that it shouldn't be allowed to rise more than 2.45% this year, just like the counties are capped at and the cities are capped at. And the state has historically simply levied the maximum number of mills. Oh, I think it's like 95 for one thing and 40 or something for another. And now MACO is arguing, hey, you can't just every single year do that. You can only increase by 2.45%. So in a year like this, when the value of mills everywhere went up because of the residential reappraisal, $95,000 is a windfall, or 95 mills is a windfall. It's way more than 2.45% more in revenue.
So that's, any other commissioner reports?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. And any public comment?
I think I gave mine.
Okay.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay, so with that, our next meeting will be the 21st.
I'll be gone.
You'll be gone, that's all right. You'll have your standing.
Mhm.
Okay. So I will adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Thanks.